The whole world closely watches trips of the crown family. They are not like the travels of ordinary people. Most often their travels are associated with official events. However, their budget is limited because it is funded by British taxpayers. Therefore, monarchs can use the services of private jets only when the trip is related to state affairs. In other cases, they fly like ordinary passengers and they don't always get the best seats. Prince Charles turned out to be the most spoiled in terms of the cost of trips. Journalists have repeatedly reproached him for excessive spending on luxury travel. His trips cost the country's budget a considerable sum. The Queen doesn't allow herself such liberties. Elizabeth doesn't mind going on a trip on a cheaper form of transport and often chooses ordinary trains rather than the special royal trains. She tries to make sure that the other members of the royal family don't spend too much on flights and trips because this can cause public condemnation. There is only one option when monarchs can afford to travel on private jets. People with such a social status have fairly well-off friends, and they can borrow elite private jets from them. For example, Prince William and Kate Middleton often borrow a private jet from their longtime billionaire friend, Hugh Grosvenor. Ordinary citizens try to make the flight as comfortable as possible. They wear comfortable clothes to settle down with maximum comfort. However, members of the royal family are deprived of this pleasure. They are forced to travel in official-style clothes and cannot relax for a minute. So Kate Middleton and her husband can be seen on the plane dressed in business-style suits. After all, they have to get on and off the plane in front of cameras of ever-present journalists. In addition, the royal family never flies without bodyguards and assistants, but tries not to take too many subordinates with them. Each time, the number of persons accompanying them is set differently, depending on the purpose of the trip and the destination country. Mandatory persons accompanying the crown family are not only security officers, but also a royal photographer. Here's a fun fact. According to royal protocol, two heirs to the throne cannot fly together in the same plane. This is for security reasons, to protect the Windsor family tree. Despite the fact that the rule is unspoken, they have to ask permission to fly together from the Queen in person. This happens every time the Dukes of Cambridge travel to other countries with their children. Members of the world's most famous family should be ready for any situation at any time. That's why they have to take mourning clothes with them on trips in case of the death of one of their relatives during their absence from their homeland. This tradition appeared when the Queen herself had to return home from Kenya after learning about the death of her father. However, she couldn't get off the plane until the appropriate dress was brought to her. On trips, the Windsors are always accompanied by a personal royal doctor. It's the only person they can entrust their precious health to. And in case of a sudden need for a blood transfusion, they always have blood supplies in the luggage for each of the travelers. The rules of the royal protocol are binding on all family members. That's why the Windsors always carry alcohol with them. They can't buy it anywhere for security reasons because they can be poisoned. This rule has been in effect for several centuries, and Prince Charles and his wife Camilla are happy to fulfill it, always having several bottles of their much-loved gin and tonic and dry red wine on their trips. At the same time, the trips of monarchs are almost often not a pleasure trip. Most of the time, they just perform their royal duties. Would you like to have a life like this? If you like the video, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss anything interesting.